Welcome everyone to Winning in the Shadows. We're breaking down UFC Fight Night. Henry Cejudo and Yadong Song, Andy and Jim here. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you guys are doing. We're working hard to build up this Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. Darts video just went up. We're doing NASCAR content as well. NBA's back, so we'll have a lot of props videos coming out. So working really hard. Appreciate all of you and really happy with the Discord, man. We've added European basketball channel to it. Handball is doing well, along with all the usual suspects in there. So really, really happy just with everything that's going on. A lot of positive vibes. In the description is the Discord channel. I know we had some questions last week about where can get the link. So from now on, in all the descriptions, the Discord link is in the description. So just go there if you want to join there. It's free. A lot of free tips, a lot of really good handicappers, like-minded people. You should really, really enjoy yourself. All right, welcome everyone to UFC Fight Night. Henry Cejudo, Yadong Song, breaking down all the fights. Andy and Jim here. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell us who you like, and hit the like button. But if you don't have a hot take and you just want to help us out, code word is going to be finish. Just type the word finish in the comment section. We want to see some finishes this week here. So. Jim, happy birthday.
Why, thank you.
And happy birthday to RJ this Saturday. My God.
Yeah, creeping up.
You and your son have your birthdays within a few days of each other. I'm sure that's not wild or anything. So
I could never have pulled it off even if I tried to.
Right?
It just happened to happen that way. What can I say?
All right, well, let's get into the first fight. Modestas Bukauskas versus Raffael Cerqueira. Where are you going with this one?
You're going to hear this a lot tonight. I'll pre-frame this. This is not a great card, skill-wise. This card
disgusting.
Is a train wreck.
This card's disgusting.
I believe a total of 6 fights have been moved off this card since its inception. So this card is an absolute mess, and I'm going to be really cautious this week. There are some spots I like. You brought up that this is a live betting gold mine. This card, and I have to agree with you. I think it's pretty wise to bet, so you're going to hear that a lot tonight. Bukauskas, what does he do great? He doesn't do much great. He just kind of does everything okay. He's been around. Losing to Victor Petrino is a damning loss after what we've seen from that guy over his past couple fights, all right? Not good as far as that goes. Now, the problem is, I don't know if his opponent, Raffael, is UFC level. You heard this thing about him being accused of throwing this last fight, right?
I mean, if you're going to throw it, going out there and not returning fire while a guy tees off on you for 40 seconds is a pretty good way to throw it. I mean, it was pretty awful. To me, it looked like he just froze. I think he just froze. I think
I lean more towards that.
Yeah,
I don't think at the UFC level throwing fights is something that they're going to allow. First of all,
well, they're going to know that world is UFC has too many guys that just they know everything, and you're not getting another fight if there's even an inkling.
There you go. That's where I was going with it. Perfect.
Yeah.
So he's still here. Obviously, he didn't throw it, but he did freeze. Like a stone. Now, that was UFC jitters. I don't know. I don't really want to pick a side in this fight. I would have to say that I'll lean with the experienced side of Modestas Bukauskas. However, if we are going to see Raffael's best, it's got to be now, or else he's getting his walking papers after 2 fights. So I'm going to lean with Bukauskas. I think he ekes out a W here, but I am not impressed with him one bit at all.
This guy's, to me, a complete fraud. I mean, listen, demo fight against 1-1, victorious MMA. I'm just not impressed with this guy at all. He froze against Ibo Aslan. And the other thing is, you can't find a whole lot of film on him. We tried, and there's where he's fighting at is high school gyms. And I'm sorry, Bukauskas just has all the experience in the world. To me, he's going to be better on the feet, like moving on his actual feet. His movements can be fine. He ate a check hook from Petrino. It was a dumb move, but a nice win against Pragnell. I like that he got him down on the ground and he got a choke. I can tell you, Raffael ain't taking Bukauskas down. Who's more likely to get a takedown?
Oh, it's Bukauskas.
It's not even close. So, I like the resurgence here. Bukauskas, everyone loves a comeback, story. So, he gets cut from UFC, goes to Cage Warriors, does what he's supposed to do, wins a couple fights, does well against Pedro and Pago. Horrible competition. Crackneo's not the best, and he just ate one punch for Petrino, which that's what Petrino does. He's low volume but high power, and if he lands the one shot, he can knock you out. So I'm so out on this Raffael Cerqueira. I don't believe in him. Don't think he's gotten a whole lot better, and I think this is going to be Modestas doing what he wants from range. If he wants to take down, what have you seen from this Raffael Cerqueira that makes you think he can keep up with a UFC caliber guy on the ground? So Modestas isn't great, but he got a submission win in the last one, so that's good enough for me. Modestas will be the pick.
Okay, same side on that one.
Yeah, Nursulton, Ruziboev, and Eric McConico. Who do you like in this one?
run that pass breakdown back again. It's the same fight.
It's great.
Ruziboev's not great. I think he's a fraud. Same thing. However, he is most certainly good enough to beat Eric. I haven't seen anything from Eric that shows to me that he is not going to get hit by the one weapon that Ruziboev has, which is his right hand. Ruziboev has great skills, but only for about 3 moves. He's got a Kimura. He's got a right hand. He's got a double leg takedown. That's about all that he has. He doesn't have that back and forth wrestling. He doesn't have the cardio to push a hard 3. He doesn't have a lot of things. But the one thing he does have is enough to beat his opponent. I just haven't seen anything at all whatsoever from Eric. And honestly, this strength of competition, 34 years old, that tells you a lot. Like we kind of said from the beginning, it's going to be one of these nights where these guys are rolling in first fight, second fight, mid-30s, no big push. Look, I don't like Ruziboev, but I think he can get this W. I'm going to go with Ruziboev. If he doesn't get the knockout, have your live lines open, because this man could most certainly piss away a decision, a split decision in this fight. But I'm going with Ruziboev.
I mean, laying minus 300 on Ruziboev is just really, really dangerous. But I mean, the level of competition, level of experience, it's just not even close. There's so many questions about McConico. He's just not polished. Like against Tyler Ray, he got dominated in the first round. I think that's a fight I'm thinking of, and he turns it around. If he gets dominated by Ruziboev in the first round, he's probably getting finished. Mm-hmm. Like it's we watched Ruziboev lose to Buckley, who showed off his wrestling and takedowns. Of Buckley's an animal.
He's a title challenger.
I mean, yeah. So he beats Bruno Ferreira in his debut and gets the early finish. He beats Cedric Dumas, gets the early finish, albeit in kind of a questionable way. But you watch these two guys. If you guys watch me for a while, I like to put the two opponents in their last fight on screens right next to each other. Just see how fast they look like, or what's their movement, what's their strengths and weaknesses. And I mean, Ruziboev's striking is so much better than this guy's. For me, it's Ruziboev. It'd be Ruziboev by finish if you want better than that. Again, a 34-year-old making his UFC debut. Yep. Red flags written all over it. So Ruziboev by finish will be the pick for me. Newly added Austin Vanderford versus Nikolay Veretennikov. Jim, Veretennikov probably saw him in Bellator. That would be, I think, where most people know him. If you forgot about his last UFC fight, it's because it was horrific. And like somehow he turned a Danny Barlow fight into a snooze fest. I don't know how he did that. Mm-hmm. Newly added, I don't even know what lines are. Who do you pick as the winner here?
This is an absolute riot, this fight. I saw the news yesterday. Austin Vanderford signs with the UFC. Boom, he's fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Austin Vanderford Paige Van Zandt thing, I don't know how committed. Well, I don't know. I know how non-committed Paige Van Zandt is to be an MMA fighter, and we'll get to her when the GFL starts kicking off because she's signed to the GFL. But they both have a podcast. This guy is a career Bellator fighter who faltered against the best that Bellator had to offer. What's he been doing? Like, what's he been doing? Besides losing in Bellator and then being on the podcast with his influencer wife who's doing Power Slap now. So to think that Vanderford is big slam dunk, oh, we got this really highly touted free agent. Let's not fool ourselves. He was a highly touted free agent about 3 years ago. Now I have massive, massive questions about what this guy is going to do with the rest of his career. We love Aaron Jeffrey, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron Jeffrey can make some boneheaded decisions in some boneheaded fights and lose fights. And he wiped the floor with them. So not a huge fan of Vanderford this last minute. It sounds a little showy. Here's the thing, though. The guy that he's fighting, like we said, turned a Danny Barlow fight into an absolute snooze fest.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. Somehow Danny Barlow wins that fight, luckily. Other than that, the guy's not that good. So we have two fighters that I'm not into. I will actually just take this fight. You know what? Take this fight to go to decision. I don't see Vanderford pushing a massive pace, and I think both these guys can have a lot of stall time up against the cage.
Oh, see, I think Vanderford comes out trying to end this thing early.
You think so?
He did it in LFA. His last 3 fights, not even remotely. They didn't get till minute 30. So I think he pushes the pace. I would take, just for fun, I'd take it to go under. I mean, come on, Nikolay, fight, throw a punch. My God, it was so low volume and so bad against Danny Barlow. And my hope with Nikolay is he got the memo. Like, if you do that again and you win, you're cut. Mm-hmm. Like, you cannot turn a Danny Barlow fight into a boring, like, sparring session where you don't even land 40, strikes in all 3 rounds. So I'll there's no bet here to be made for clients or anything. For fun, maybe you take it to not go the distance. All right, Ricky Simone and Javid Basharat, a couple guys that we've really liked betting on. Who do you see in this matchup?
I'm going to keep this one short. I think this is a super buy low spot on Javid Basharat. People absolutely hate Basharat. I don't know why. All the guy does is win. We've been talking about these guys a lot lately. All he does is win. So you can hate his style. You can hate his fights. You know what? Don't watch the fight. But bet on him to win because that's all that he does. Okay? His loss to Arman, I was thinking back to that, and that's like, if he can't wrestle him for 3, like, that's Arman's path in that fight.
You talking about Zahabi, right?
Ayman, I'm sorry. Ayman Zahabi, yes. I don't know why I said Arman.
Because it's your birthday.
It is my birthday. So that's kind of the perfect storm. Everything that had to happen for Zahabi to win that fight kind of did. And Basharat had one of those when the fight's over. How did I not win? Well, again, we just talked about a wake-up call. I think that was a wake-up call for Basharat. These guys are not dumb, him and his brother. They know and do exactly what it takes to win. They know they got to ratchet it up a little bit. Ricky Simone does not look great. I doubt that Ricky Simone is healthy still. I'll be very, very interested to see if he comes out with a ankle wrap yet again and see from there. Give me Basharat. Give me Basharat by decision.
Yeah, I love getting Basharat off of the loss. Mm-hmm. I mean, he screwed around in that fight. He did not put the nail in the coffin. He didn't end the rounds like big time. He actually seemed like he got a little bit tired. I thought he just got complacent. And I mean, sometimes that's the best time to buy low. That's like, who's going to be more hungry than him coming off of a loss that's really, really frustrating? And you're right. Him and his brother are really smart. He's going to go back, watch film, and realize why he lost. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's going to watch film and be like, well, the judges, that's just horrible. He's going to be like, nope, got to do that. So, yeah, he's funny on the mic. He does it like, remember against Tony Gravely, they asked him about something. He's like, Gravely's got to watch the headbutts, man.
He's giving him pointers.
Yeah. He just comes across as an arrogant ass. But guess what works on the mic in UFC? True. Being an arrogant ass. Probably didn't like him. He kicked Victor Henry in the balls and then wasn't too impressed that Victor Henry couldn't continue. So, yeah, he not super likable. Here's my worry. Yadong Song, this was a great fight for Expo. He
Great
looked
fight.
like even though he got knocked out, he held his own and looked good. Mario Batista's looked fine. And then we we were we thought this was a pretty bad loss against Vinicius Oliveira, and we were like, Ricky Simone didn't look healthy. He couldn't get the chain wrestling going. Now, what if Oliveira's just an animal? What if he's got that dog in him? Not what if, he does have
Oh,
that
he
dog.
definitely is.
I
He'll
mean,
fight to the bitter end. I'll give you
him
that.
being hurt and putting it all inside had never met up. So I'm wondering if this fight against Oliveira, like, I wonder if that's going to age very, very different than how it was in the moment. My problem though is Simone's got basically one path to victory. It's you're going to have to chain wrestle, and you're going to have to win 2 or 3 rounds to do it. And Basharat is just fine with the ground game and with the wrestling. And on the feet, it's Basharat at distance. So I'm going to lean Basharat. I don't like this minus 300 number because, I mean,
It's
you
getting
gotta,
out of control.
yeah, you got to put it with something. But again, it's Basharat. Do you go Basharat by decision? Because that's kind of what this guy does. All
It's
3
what you do.
UFC wins is by decision. And what's the finish on Ricky Simone? I mean, a knockout? That's not what Basharat does.
Simone's notoriously tough as well. It would have to
Yeah.
be it'd have to be just a starching knockout, and I think Simone is tough enough to fight through that.
Yeah. So if you're going to play Basharat, I would bypass that minus 300 and just look at playing him by decision. Nick Klein and Mansur Abdul-Malik. Couple of interesting prospects here. So I'll go over the Nick Klein, our notes from Nick Klein from Contender Series. So he fights in the last week. Super last second notice. The ref says start, and Klein flies across the ring, kicks the guy once, grabs the guy's neck, and hangs onto it. Like there was no getting out of it. Gets like the 30-second submission, gets on the mic, does this amazing interview. There's no chance Dana's not giving him a contract. He looks great. His family was there. He's given this inspirational speech and everything. So, of course, they were going to get him a fight, as soon as humanly possible. I don't know if we know that much about him here, Jim, but curious what's your takeaway on this one.
I think Nick Klein is going to be an underfighter. I think no matter how we slice it, Nick Klein is going to be that guy that you can guarantee you're going to get an under out of him. He's either going to go out there and overachieve, or he's going to look like he's the small fish in the big pond. I mean, I'm so curious what the rest of this fight was going to look like.
Against Sousa? It wasn't going to go more than 3 minutes.
It was so damn fast. I was like, oh, okay. All right. We didn't learn a whole lot. Klein is live. I think he's going to be live just the way that he is. He's a lunch pail guy that's just going to come to there and go to work just like Clay Guida was years ago. Malik has cardio questions. There's only really one way to play this fight, and it's to take Malik by finish in round 1, and you're live betting Klein the second that you think he's going to survive round 1 at probably plus 600, 700. I think he's plus. I don't know what the line is right now, but he was plus 500 at one point. So that's the way to bet this fight. Doesn't really matter from there. Malik's a knockout artist with cardio concerns. That's simple. Klein's a wrestler who's a maniac. If he gets out of the first round, he's live. If the finish comes against him, it's going to be the first. That's where I see it.
I like the under 1.5 on this one. Same thing. Malik, I mean, it's just not even close on either side. Who's the better, wrestler, grappler? I believe it's Klein. Who's the better on the streak? No question, it's Malik. Like, Klein's striking has been pretty bad. I'm with you, though. I watched Malik. Listen, he got Dusko Todorovic out of there. Todorovic was actually making him work. Now, Todorovic was getting pounded and eventually got knocked out. But Malik, man, was a little bit tired. He was a little bit tired halfway through the first round. His cardio looked okay on Contender Series, but it's against Wes Schultz, so not really sure. And what if Klein does get the first takedown and makes him wrestle? Well, what's Malik's cardio going to look like there? I don't care who wins. Give me the under. This would be a violence parlay. That being said, I could not agree more that you're betting not Nick Klein if this gets out of the first round.
Yes.
100%. I actually think he's worth a sprinkle now. This like Malik at minus 1,000 is ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous about that. So there's Klein is not scared. He has nothing to lose. It's the ultimate, like, the pressure is all on Malik in this one. So I'm with you.
He's up to plus 650.
Yeah. I thought plus 500 was a little ridiculous for a guy that can take guys down and get submissions. So, and I'm fully prepared to look like a dope if Malik knocks him out in the first 45 seconds. It's fine. But Nick Klein survives or gets the first takedown and makes Malik work on the ground. I don't be surprised if Klein could get him in a submission on that one. So
Malik round one is minus 125. You bet that pre-fight, and you bet Klein money line, and you're just rooting for Klein the whole time.
Yeah,
that's all you're doing.
Pretty interesting.
Fans.
Pretty interesting here. Andre Fili and Melky Costa, Costa even money. So pick the winner. You're going to get paid. What do you think?
This is one of Jim's beefs with Tapology. What do we have? Andre Fili, 137 tattoos ago.
Yeah.
Like, can we? Oh, look, and now we update. Even that one's not current.
There's a couple. Look at his hair. His hair's completely different. Yeah.
That one's like 2009 LFA.
Yeah.
This win against Cub Swanson, this split win, not good. Not good. Retiring old fighter. He gets cracked by Danny Ige. Lucas Almeida, okay. Lucas Almeida's not great, right? Nathaniel Wood, Bill Algeo, who's out of the UFC, by the way, released today. So no more Bill Algeo. Happy trails to him. It's just not the best record of wins and losses against Fili. Now, my big question is what does Melky Costa do great? And this was the question I wanted to ask you. What is his path to victory? Because you would think with Fili and the durability concerns is striking, but I don't know if Costa's got the striking to really hurt Fili. It's going to be more a grappling fest. So I want to root against Fili. I don't know if I can do it with Costa. It's kept me off it all week. Really, really interested to where you see this fight.
So here's what Costa does better than Fili is that you're never wanting more from Costa. With Fili, every fight you're like, can you give a little more volume? Can you not look like you're tired? Can you not look like you're up against the wall against Cub Swanson? Like, can you push forward a little bit? Like, okay, that was a great jab. And then you backed off and you didn't follow it up with anything. He's like just he's the constant, you're getting a 6 out of 10, it feels like. And Costa's going to push forward. And I think he's going to throw more volume, and I think he's going to be in Fili's face. And, he gets the really nice, he gets a really nice sub against Charlotte Nuremberg. And heck, he dropped Steve Garcia early. And then Steve Garcia, did what Steve Garcia does, which is knock dudes out. That's what he does. Literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. So he makes his debut in a complete no-win situation against Thiago Moises, but they give him Austin Lingo, they give him a murderer and Steve Garcia, and he gets a rear naked choke. I just think he's going to be a little bit more active and a little bit better. And when you have these close rounds, Fili lose them. Listen, look at these wins. Cub Swanson, who I'm pretty sure that was his retirement.
Cub.
I know. His wife is like, yes, it was his retirement. Cub's like, we'll talk about it at home. All right, so a retiring Cub Swanson, Lucas Almeida, okay, decent win, but Almeida's no world beater. Bill Algeo in another split.
Yeah.
So right here between Cub Swanson and Bill Algeo, if two judges have a round go the other way, these are losses. Then you got to go back, losing to Brito, no contest, Pineda, Bryce Mitchell. Another split to Charles Jourdain. What is happening with this? Now you got to go back to, guys.
You're going way back.
Yeah, you're going way back. So this guy's record is built on split decision. That doesn't always work. It's law of averages. It's just not going to work out that way. So for me, it's Milky. I think he outworks him. I think he does a little bit more exciting things in the last minute. I think Fili's going to be a little bit better, but as far as the guy who I just think is going to push forward and have more activity, I think it's going to be Costa. I think that's his path to victory, and I actually love the odds on that one. So, let's see, guys. What do we got up at Wager Talk? We got our UFC best bets that are up. Number one in MMA profits. But full disclosure, guys, last week was not our best week. It was our first bummer card. Jim, you want to do a little recap of our bets last week and what went wrong?
Gregory Rodriguez.
Well, we had 4 parlay pieces, and we managed to put 2 losers in, or 1 loser in each parlay.
Yeah,
You're gonna have those moments. What did we do wrong? With the Gregory Rodriguez, I mean, look, he had a chance to put Cannonier out of there and just couldn't get it done. It was really just a piss poor performance. The Rodolfo fight, I scored it very differently. So I'm not going to really sweat about that one as much. I'm not mad about it. I am mad that he decided to make Petrosky look like a competent MMA fighter because he should have absolutely watched the guy. So it's just one of those weeks you're a little snake bit. So that's what we did wrong. The good thing is on the show, we hit a really nice live bet. So that was a good perk right there. And we were also smart enough to take Edmund and just play him by finish. So even though we lost our parlay, if you guys were on the live stream, I hope you were watching and you got it. We played Edmund by KO TKO, and that helped our night out immensely from there. So, back on track. We're going to have these weeks. We're not going to win them all.
Yeah. The live show is, of course, on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. So we do Takedown Live where we watch the fights live and, give out some live bets. So, yeah, being able to get the Shabazian was kind of the bright side. But, yeah, first bad event of the year. It's going to happen. Apologize to everyone that's on board. But, listen, long term, we hit 58.1% of winners in the last 365 days in MMA. That'll build your bankroll over long term. Really, really nice. So this year, we're up 22.82 units, all sports. Really, really happy with that. Running a 7-day special. You get 7 days over at Wager Talk. You get 3 days free added onto it. Corbin's on an insane tennis run right now. We've got lacrosse. We've got NBA back. We've got NHL, which will be back. And, of course, you got all of our UFC plays as well. So all sports, 154 and 113 for plus 22.82 units, right on track with where we're right on track with about what we've done the last couple years. So encourage everyone to jump on board with all of those plays. All right, let's go back to picking some fights here. Yeah, Cutelaba and Ibo Aslan. I never in a million years would have thought that Cutelaba had it in him to go 2 straight fights to the distance. This is a really interesting kind of situation that's happened. What do you do with this fight, Jim?
Maybe it was the birthday beverages. However, right before we got on stream, I bet Cutelaba.
Okay. All right.
More and more I look at this Ibo. This guy is just so ripe to be beaten. Like so ripe to be beaten. That Anton Turkalj fight I thought was extremely alarming. How bad he looked. And again, fighting Raffael, a guy who didn't fight. So if we take Raffael's fight, we throw that out. What do we know of Ibo? We know that he fought an absolute can on Contender Series. Okay. He fought. This guy was so bad.
He hasn't fought since then.
No, he was so bad. Turkalj is now cut. So we know that he's fought 2 non-UFC level opponents. Say what you want about Ion Cutelaba. He's a UFC level fighter. He's been here forever. Like to the point where he's calmed down over the years. He's not the Hulk. And I love the fact that we went to 2 decisions. Look, this loss to Felipe Lins, we already talked. Felipe Lins is going to be a problem in GFL. Going to be a problem. So I thought Lins looked great in that fight. Other than that, Cutelaba can go the distance. He can move on with the wrestling. Ibo's cardio is going to get absolutely zapped if we get a takedown early from Cutelaba. So I bet Cutelaba at the plus money. I think if this goes to the second round, this is Cutelaba's fight to lose. He's going to have everything in his favor.
I'm pretty surprised we came to the same conclusion
Nice.
on this one. So
Okay.
I mean, come on. This guy beats Raffael Cerqueira, who we went over that.
Mm-hmm.
So he beats Cerqueira. You went over, this fraud that was on Contender Series. And look at who he's beating: a 5-9 fighter, an 18-21, a 6-7. He finally fights a guy who's 5-0, and it's Cerqueira,
It's
and he
Anton.
loses.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he fight before that? 8-14. So he's chiseled. He looks like a god. And I think Cutelaba is going to pull out some kind of veteran moves, and I think he's going to weather the storm. Don't forget, against Cerqueira, Ibo's eye was all beat up. It's Cerqueira. So I'm with you. I think it's Cutelaba. I mean, how funny would Cutelaba to go the distance 3 fights in a row? What did that parlay? But you're right. He's like, this reminds me of when Carlos Olberg went too hard, too fast in his UFC fight. And then his next one, he was like, I am not going to get tired. I am not going to get tired. And it was just this hilarious experiment in weathering your cardio. I think Cutelaba's done that. And I don't think Aslan knocks him out. So I can't believe Cutelaba and over is going to be the play here. But yeah, you don't need to mess with the prop in that one. So Cutelaba is a play. I'm with you.
I do think there is some finish equity on Cutelaba because of the poor car. If he does wrestle, like Ibo wrestling for 2 rounds, what's that result?
You're right. Ibo's exhausted. Ibo's done. You're right. But can Cutelaba keep it up?
This is what you're doing. You're betting on him to be able to secure a submission after 10 minutes.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, Alonzo Menifield and Julius Walker. Julius Walker, another guy making his debut. I'll be honest, I did not expect to see Alonzo Menifield back after Azmat Mirzakhanov put it on him, but here we are. By the way, how does he have it? He has it. He was going to fight Umar, wasn't he? They pulled him in to fight this Julius Walker guy. That's what it looks like. So, yeah. What do you make of Alonzo?
Thrown to the wolves.
Alonzo Menifield and Julius Walker. Where do you stand on this fight?
Well, I know a lot of us miss Bellator because it's gone, but never fear. Bellator is here and alive and well in the UFC because this is just such a Bellator style fight. This is the UFC veteran on a losing streak against a guy who's 6-0. 6-0. 2 years professional in MMA.
That's
Am I thinking of the right guy? A lot of amateurs.
A lot of amateur fights.
But only 2 years professional. Okay? I am not going to trust the 6-0 guy. He's got to prove it to me. Alonzo Menifield is horrible as an MMA fighter. Okay? Looks like Tarzan, fights like Jane. Totally, totally different. Big giant muscles, not a great grappling skill set, bad chin, reckless striking. I can go on and on and on and on. But he's a UFC level fighter. I don't know if Walker is at 6-0. And again, look at these guys that he's fought. We have a 7-5 in there. We have an 0-3.
It's not that bad.
It's not horrible, but this is the UFC. We have to remember that this is the UFC. Alonzo may be the bottom of the barrel in the UFC, but he has been here for a long time. This is like the same argument for Cutelaba that I have. The difference is Cutelaba's a big giant plus number. So I'm going to stick with that. No bet for me here. I think this fight is very violent, very quickly, one way or the other. One of these guys is not going to look like they're supposed to be there. If Walker gets his game going, Menifield's going to cave. It's just what he does. If Menifield gets the win, how's he going to get the win? He's going to get it by starching this guy, and he's not going to look ready for it. So I'll take the under 2.5 or doesn't go the distance as a parlay piece, or maybe even straight up when the line comes out.
Look, the unders is pretty good. I think cardio is just going to be a really, really big issue. Honestly, when I'm watching this live, I'm just going to look at who fades first. I really am, because I don't like if we avoid the flash knockout early, there's going to be clinching against the fence. We know that. There's probably going to be a takedown. There's going to be some dirty boxing. And here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to guarantee this. In the last minute of the first round, there's going to be either a break from clinching against the fence, and one of the guys is going to go, that's who you want to bet against.
Yeah.
Or they're on the ground, and it's the end of the round, and one of them can't quite get up real fast. Something's going to happen in the last part of the first round that is literally going to tell you who is getting ready to win this fight. Alonzo Menifield, listen, we really didn't have a ton of durability issues coming into it, but he was flying across the ring, and Holberg just stands there, just pink. Yeah. And then he was just, this was not a flash knockout from Menifield. Menifield took a lot of punches for the entire time. So I now have real questions about cardio, and I'm sorry. I know that Jared Cannonier broke the, fade the older fighter theory. I'm just going to keep with it. Is Alonzo Menifield the older fighter with durability issues? Yes, absolutely he is. So can Julius Walker get it done at 25 years old? I just think he's going to have the fresher legs. I think he's going to have the fresher, thing. But no pre-bet. I'm just live bet. The first sign of a guy getting tired, that's who I'm going to take, because I don't think either of these guys is going to last very long. Moving on to Gene Silva and Melsik Baghdasaryan. Gene Silva, fighting nerds. We've just continued to keep hitting fights on fighting nerd fighters, but we have to make a little asterisk and addendum to this, don't we? We're betting on the male fighters from the fighting nerds. The female fighters that have recently joined fighting nerds, pretty bad. Gene Silva, though, has looked really good. Big favorite here. I guess take it from another side. Do you see Melsik winning this?
Everybody's got a shot. I don't think Gene Silva can be knocked out, not by Melsik. Melsik's got a great body kick. Problem is, I don't think he's going to be able to use it. People ask us before we even get into the actual nuts and bolts of this fight. People ask us how come we don't do our video early in the week. You learn so much over a couple of days of just really narrowing in and honing in on these fighters. Baghdasaryan's coming off labrum surgery.
Mm-hmm. He's beat up, man.
That's bad, man. It's a bad thing. We have multiple fights canceled. Look at all the canceled fights.
It's 5 fights canceled before he's fought 2 of them.
Yeah, some of them are not him, but most of them are. So it's just, it follows this guy.
I mean, not every fighter is like 2 canceled, 2 fight, 1 on, 2. Like, there's a theme here, and it's not just the other guys.
Melsik is also a failed prospect from Ronda Rousey's gym, along with Edmond. These guys were talked up years ago as being the next big thing, and kind of got in there because of Rousey's striking coach. They were his boys. I don't know if they still train with him. I sure hope they don't. I hope nobody got even close to Edmond striking. He's just going up against a buzzsaw in Silva. And the path is really to mix in the wrestling. I just don't see Melsik being able to hurt Silva. He's going to be able to march forward. He's going to make this a Gene Silva fight. And Melsik is going to oblige because he doesn't have the offensive wrestling to change it. So I don't think there's an option in this fight how it's fought. And it's going to really, really lean towards Gene Silva in this position. I am off the Gene Silva fade train. Okay. I tried it. This is just like, that bet with DPP the other week.
Mm-hmm.
These guys just keep winning. You got to swallow your pride and say, I was wrong. And I was wrong about Gene Silva.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is you got to go back, and I don't know how much we can take, but there's a guillotine win. There's a guillotine win. So this guy, he's shown he can actually get submissions. Melsik ain't submitting anybody. His path to victory is to somehow win 2 rounds and somehow not get obliterated by Gene Silva, who has really accurate striking. And I mean, he put it on Drew Dober, man. That was a complete ass kicking.
It was ugly.
Knocks out Jourdain, knocks out Weston Wilson. Listen, this guy's done everything that you would ask of him. So, and by the way, this is pretty decent win over
Vallejos?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Vallejos is a real. We loved him
Mhm.
on Contender Series. He had a really good showing
Yeah.
on Contender Series. And who's his one loss to? It's Gene Silva. So, and look at Vallejos is only 23 years old. So this kind of reminds me of a Zalal almost, like a little too
Yes.
early.
Yes.
Come back. So I have Silva. I did the thing where I put their screens side by side, and I got to be honest, Melsik's body kick looked good. The speed of Silva's punches are so much better. I think he's going to land early and often. And I'm with you that Melsik may land a few body kicks, but he's going to have a jab coming right back at him, and he's going to get real sick of getting stuck once he throws those body kicks. I think Silva. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a knockout. And the other thing, like, okay, knocks out Colin Anglin and then Bruno Souza, and then submitted by Josh Cooleybow.
You can't lose to Josh Cooleybow. Come on.
Not being submitted. I know it's kind of a bang bang thing, but come on, like that's so. Then what happens? He fights Tucker Lutz. Like they're giving him these fights he should win. And by the way, unanimous decision against Dennis Bazooka, who hasn't looked that great. That's being kind. It's Gene Silva for me. I'm not going to overthink this one.
Mhm.
Rob Font and Gene Matsumoto, 16-0. Does the O go in this one, Jim?
Massive step up. Massive step up for Silva. This is undoubtedly the best. Massive step down for Rob Font. This goes to one of our theories about cumulative damage, and we were proved right in a losing effort 2 weeks ago when Rongju got touched in his eye and it blew up like a hot air balloon instantly from a flick of a jab. Rob Font's face has been broken many, many, many times. Look at that profile picture. Like,
Yeah,
who's running Tapology? Come on.
He looks like, if you put a suit jacket on, he looks like he's in a barbershop quartet. Like,
Yeah, this fight is Rob older than we thought, and this is a fight from 1963 in the back alley of Newark.
So
here.
funny. That's so funny. By the way, how could they make the belt bigger?
Yeah.
It's not a belt; it's a shield.
Oh, Tapology, you're the best. Just the cumulative damage over Rob's fights, I think, is really a problem in this fight. He has not shown the damage well. Now, Rob is tough as nails. They really don't make him much tougher than Rob Font. But at some point, that's going to crack. It just is. You go down the list, Rob always absorbs fight. Even the knockout of Yanez, he was wearing that fight in a win, okay? He gets this win over Kyler Phillips last time out. Boy, did we call Kyler Phillips crap in the bed in that one, didn't we?
We had Font in the last one.
Yep.
I'm surprised
So I thought that was
this Rob Font negativity.
That was a picture perfect selection there. We knew that we were getting. Gene Silva is the real freaking deal to
Matsumoto.
me. Oh, I'm sorry, Gene Matsumoto. He is the real deal to me. This kid has everything. This is a massive step up for him. But I really liked the win against Brad Katona. I thought he showed a little bit of everything. That's a tough thing to do, is to out-decision Brad Katona.
It was a great fight.
Fantastic.
Great fight.
You know, so really became a believer there. Dan Argueta did what he's supposed to do against Dan Argueta. I got to fade the old fighter, man. Like you said, I know Jared got us last week. If we play this for the rest of the year, we're going to be profitable. We're going to be profitable. So I will take Matsumoto over Silva. By the way, the Gene parlay.
It's pretty good.
That's looking pretty cool, huh?
Gene parlay. So here's my take. I think Font is a live dog here. If Matsumoto chooses to wrestle, it's been shown that Rob Font not only can't slow down a takedown, he's probably not stopping it. On the feet, though, Rob Font can throw a lot of volume. He can be accurate. So here's what I see here. I see Gene Matsumoto, who went to decision against Katona. He got hit, but he did some good damage. He wins against Argueta because Argueta just goes for 1,000,000 takedowns and doesn't get him and just completely falls. I mean, it goes down as a guillotine choke. Really, he was just tired. Argueta was exhausted. And then on Contender Series, he goes the distance against Casey Tanner Okay, you can finish, Casey Tanner. Casey Tanner's okay, but wouldn't say he's that great. And then I've got Rob Font, who, when you pull up Rob Font, he gets the win against Kyler Phillips, decision. We correctly predict him to lose against Fig, decision. Corey Sandhagen, decision. He loses to Marlon Vera by decision. Loses to Aldo by decision. He doesn't get finished.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the play is this fight to go the distance. I don't see a finish. Font is not a finisher.
It's going to take a lot.
Like, I don't see Font. He knocked out Marlon Moraes, and then Yanez, when Yanez fought like a bozo and left himself like you remember that one. Like,
Yep.
Yanez got so just like, oh, I'm feeling myself, and oops, Font knocked me out. I think you could see some wrestling from Matsumoto, but Font, going back to these losses, yeah, he got taken down. He didn't get submitted, though. These guys are not submitting Rob Font. They're not finishing him with ground and pound. He just can't stop the takedown. So, to me, I'm bypassing the money line. I'm just going to this fight goes the distance. I don't see a finish in this one. I think it could be a fun fight on the feet. I think Matsumoto might shoot in some wrestling, but I don't think he's getting the finish. Font's a live dog, but for me, the money's in the over. Brendan Allen and Fluffy Hernandez, co-main event. The fact that this isn't 5 rounds is an absolute travesty. I don't understand why this
really
isn't 5
bothers
rounds.
me.
Brendan Allen probably said, I will take a 90% pay cut if you make this 3 rounds and not 5 rounds against Fluffy Hernandez. Fluffy, the favorite. Where do you stand on this one?
Here's the biggest stat of them all. Can we divulge?
Yeah.
One of our favorite theories. Brendan Allen just had his first son.
Let's go.
There we go. Okay.
Let's go.
It's that simple for me. On top of it, that taken out of it, this set of Fluffy is just an absolute nightmare. It is a nightmare to deal with, the pace and the cardio. Now, he is susceptible to strikes, Hernandez. More specifically to the body. It seems like he gets hurt to the body every single fight. But he finds this way to push through and continue to wrestle. This is a rematch from their LFA days. Very competitive fight. But I really don't think that both fighters have changed so much. I think they've gotten better in the same aspects that we saw of that fight. So it's kind of like they're both going up. To me, this is Hernandez. This is Hernandez by decision. I think Allen's going to be good enough to not be finished. These guys like each other as well. Brendan Allen has come out and said that I think that Fluffy deserves the opportunity to fight me at my ranking. And this is a great fight for me to get an L back. They're friends. They've known each other for a while. This is going the distance. This is Fluffy Hernandez by decision. This fight screams 2 friends getting a rematch, going the distance.
Yeah. I mean, just allow me to poke some holes in some of these. So he was tired in the 3rd round against Imavov. He just was. And yeah, okay, tired in the 2nd. You're tired in the 2nd against Imavov. You're going to be exhausted in the 2nd against Fluffy if Fluffy decides to put that pace on him. Barely wins against Chris Curtis. And that was a short notice fight. All right, submits Paul Craig, who is losing to everybody. Bruno Silva, that is now not looking like a very impressive win because Bruno Silva's losing to everybody. So I'm kind of going, all right, what's the upside here? Okay, decent win against Muniz. Okay, Jotko. I don't know. What's Brendan Allen's signature win? A split against Chris Curtis?
I'm trying to think where he looked the best. Because when Brendan Allen is on, like when he looks good, he looks damn good. You look at the guy and you're like, how's he not a title challenger?
Yeah.
He's got all the skills in the world. Brendan Allen needs to take the next jump. And he hasn't been able to do that. Is the problem. I don't know what it is. If it's the camp, if it's his training, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But he needs to take that next jump to get to the title. And until he commits to doing so, I don't know if he's going to get there. I think
he had the chance. It was Imavov. It's like, all right, here's your chance. Okay, you beat Sam Alvey and Jacob Malkoon and Jotko and Muniz and Bruno Silva and Paul Craig. And all right, great. You got your revenge against Chris Curtis. So here's Imavov, and he couldn't get it done. So now I, I I don't know, man. You take Fluffy versus Imavov. Who you got? I got Fluffy. I like we're probably if that fight ever takes place, yeah, Fluffy probably gets hit few times in the first round, and then a 5-round fight is just drown him in pressure.
Well, isn't that the stipulation with any Hernandez match? If it's 5 rounds, you just blindly bet him.
Yeah, so I think Fluffy's just gonna. I think he's gonna do the same thing. I'm not too worried about Brendan Allen striking. I'm just like, guys can hit, but like, fact is, look at how Brendan Allen is finishing guys: rear naked, rear naked, rear naked, rear naked, rear naked. This guy's not knocking dudes out. So, and one of the other that's kind of funny things I've heard mentioned is like, well, look at Fluffy, man. Pereira striker. Tailor-made, like Kopylov, striker, tailor-made. Shabazian, striker, tailor-made. Barrio, striker, tailor-made matchup for him. Yeah, he also didn't get knocked out by any of those guys. So Brendan Allen's going to be the guy to test? No way. I don't buy it. I got Fluffy. Yeah, probably by decision if they're friends. But yeah, you got to fade the baby theory. You got a guy we've made a lot of money on, and we've had a good read on it. I don't see what changes here. Brendan Allen's path to victory is what? Knockout? He ain't submitting him on the ground. If it gets out of the first round, forget it. Hernandez.
Well, like you said, I don't think it's knockout even. I think it's knockout to a submission.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit him and then jump on him and grab a neck or something and just hope
Fluffy's not tapping.
That's true. That's true.
No, you're going to have to put him out to
have
this fight.
All right, last fight, and then we're going to do our parlay buster and our woulda, coulda, shoulda. Henry Cejudo and Yadong Song. I'll let you go first. What do you think?
Yadong Song.
Okay.
Henry's old, man.
Okay.
Henry's old. Not only is Henry old, he's not fresh in the game. Like, if you're old and you're competing, that's one thing. But the massive layoff, the retirement, and the return, you just waste years, man. I know he was in there coaching. I know he was in there training, but it is way, 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 way different. And you're seeing that since he's returned. I've heard the argument, well, Merab's the champion. He went to a decision. Okay. He lost. Okay. Aljamain Sterling. Well, he went to decision. He lost. He did the wrong things to win. I thought that he won, but he made some mistakes in there that were pretty egregious against Sterling that the old Triple C doesn't make. So it's strategic errors that come from rust and lack of cage time and lack of competition at this level. And we've seen it, these old champions, the sport changes, man. It just changes. We'll go back to the Suarez Weili thing. Like, Suarez, great wrestling, right? For 2016. Yeah,
Incredible
Henry,
wrestling for 2016. Yeah,
exactly. Henry, best wrestler in division when he was champion. All these guys can wrestle now. And they're bigger and they're faster and they're stronger. This is up a weight class from his natural weight. I think Song is going to look huge when they face off after they weigh in. Absolutely huge. And talk about a guy who is primed to make a run. This is Song's now or never. He needs to win this fight. If he does not win this fight, he is pegged right into one of those gatekeeper roles. He has to beat a credible former champion. He had the L to Peter Yan. Now, that was a real close fight without that cut, right? That was a real close fight, but great fight. Candidate for fight of the year, in my opinion. That fight was fantastic. He's got to beat a champ, man. He's got to beat it. I think this is the time. They know it's the time. He's got Uriah Faber in his corner. Uriah knows how to manage fighters. He knows how to get the best out of them at the right times. This is Song's chance. I think Henry's biting off more than he can chew. I think Song works him in this fight to a really, really easy decision.
Yeah, my worry with Cejudo is I'm just not sure what he falls back on if the wrestling isn't quite working, because I don't think the striking is going to be there on Song's level. And that's kind of what I keep going to. I do worry that Song, I've seen a couple times where is the cardio 100% there, but then is Cejudo's enough to press it? And I go back to, okay, what happens if this gets into the 4th and the 5th round? I think what happens if this gets into the 4th and the 5th round, I think both guys are kind of struggling a little bit. And who do I trust to get their, to implement their game plan in a little bit better? I'm just going to lean Song because, like you said, Cejudo, it's just not in his prime. And it was kind of a bummer. He took 3 years off in his prime, which is just like, all right, like, I hope you proved your point. And then, also UFC, like, you couldn't work something out with the guy. Like, but yeah, I think this is kind of a little bit of a changing of the guard. And you're right, Song, isn't this an amazing fight for Song? If he wins, you're like, oh, beat Cejudo, he's ready. If he loses, you're like, God, 2 in a row, he's never going to be champ. Yes, I mean, literally, this industry comes down to like fights like this. So you get to rounds 4 and 5. I don't think the striking is going to be there for Cejudo, but I do think the striking will be there for Song. So if Cejudo tries to wrestle and shoots in, and Song still's got some power and punching, I think it's going to look a little bit better to the judges. I think it's close. I think it goes the distance. Don't be surprised if this is a split. I would love props on a split decision on this one. I'll ever so slightly side with Yadong Song in this one, but can't say it's a super confident pick on my part, considering the juice. He's around closer to the minus 300. So
can I bring up a quick fan theory?
Yeah.
All right, so this has been tossed around for years. So we go to Henry Cejudo. Why does Henry Cejudo return? You know about this?
No.
There's been rumors swirling for years that he was flat broke. Flat broke. Retired, rode off into the sunset, put a bunch of investments out, and lost it all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if we look at the timing of it, okay, goes from not fighting at all, right? 2020, beats Dominic Cruz. Now we're looking at 2023. 2023, he's scheduled to fight Marlon Vera. That falls out. 2024, that's another paycheck. Okay?
Yeah, a year later. Yeah, okay.
Now we're a year later from there. Is he doing this for the right reasons? Or is he doing this?
Do the Jessica Andrade divorce tour.
Look, even if you're managing fighters, if your fighters don't fight, you don't get paid. If you're coaching fighters, if they don't fight, you don't get paid. You collect your dues, but that's enough to keep your gym open. That's not enough to put food on your table. And these guys are used to living big lifestyles. So it's kind of tough. It lines up. I don't know the financials behind it, but if I'm Cejudo, why am I coming back? Why am I coming back to lose 2 in a row? Possibly 3.
Yeah.
So just a theory out there.
Okay. All right. Once again, guys, we're going to do our woulda, coulda, shoulda. We have a big surprise for the method of victory video that we are going to do on Friday. You do not want to miss the method of victory video that we're going to do on Friday. You guys will not see it coming. I promise you that. So go ahead and mark down your calendars. Friday, we will record it and we will release it. If you're interested in our UFC best bets, we're still number 1, even off a rough weekend. Still number 1 in MMA profits in 2025. 58.1% winners last 365 days in MMA. Again, if we keep that number up in 4 or 5 years, your bankroll is going to be through the roof. So encourage you to grab every play over there. The best way to grab all the sports, take advantage of the 10 days of picks for the cost 7. Get a 7-day pass. Bang. 3 days are added on. One of the things that's really important with that is, Jim, they're going to get 2 weeks of Premier League darts.
Oh, yes.
So every Thursday, Premier League of darts. This is week 3. We turn profits on week 1 and 2. So Thursdays, we're loving that. NBA returns. We've got NHL. We've got lacrosse. We've added cricket to our arsenal. It's that time of year. So you want the best of all of these sports. Listen, we're not bothered that college football and NFL is over. This is our bread and butter.
We got it all. We got it all.
Yep. A lot of plays, a lot of different sports. You don't have to watch all the sports. Just put the plays in. And oh, by the way, Corbin's on a 14-4 tennis run in the last week, just in the last week. So you will get all those with a 10-day pass. 10 days of picks for the cost of 7. It's a no-brainer. Instant $70 discount on that. All right. Let's do Parlay Buster. You could say this is all. Yeah, you could say this is all of them, or like who is the one that just. But here's the thing with the Parlay Buster. Who is everyone going to put in the parlay? This is the caveat with the Parlay Buster. We don't just try and pick like the most popular underdog of the week. Like, who is every person going to put in their parlay? We should almost call this the Peyton Talbot
The
A
honorary
parlay
Peyton
buster.
Talbot Award.
The Talbot Barcelos parlay
It's like our
buster.
Stenhouse Award for MMA. It's the
Yeah,
Peyton.
exactly.
Oh,
All right.
parlay buster.
Yep. Who's going to be in everyone's parlay, and it's just going to be a disaster.
This is a real hard one. Because like what? Who's the popular one? I gotta go. Alonzo Menifield.
Okay.
If I'm looking at any of these favorites who has an opportunity to just ruin their fight, it's going to be Alonzo Menifield. Not that I think a lot of people are going to parlay him, but minus 245, that's in the parlay range. So that's
all right. Gosh, I will go with. See, I think Malik is the one. I think Malik may be the one that ruins everybody. We've seen these minus thousands lose. I was here, said Barcelos is going to make life difficult for Talbot. And not only did he make life difficult, it was just so you get a 7-0 prospect who I'm just not that impressed with. Congratulations on your knockout of Todorovic in your UFC fight. So Klein, big advantage in the submission. So I'll go with him as a parlay buster. All right. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Do you have one? Because I have one. Yeah, you're gonna be. You do?
I do.
Yeah. What is it?
It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm going to on Cutelaba over
Oh,
this fraud Ibo Aslan.
okay.
I'm going to take the guy of veteran of 8 to 10 UFC fights against a guy who's fought a bunch of tomato cans and 2 once he got here.
This is amazing because my woulda, coulda, shoulda is fading the guy that lost to Ibo Aslan in his fight. But this
Raffael?
Bukauskas is so much better than this.
I like
This
I
guy
like where
is
we're at.
such a fraud. Give me a break. You do not go from freezing under the lights and getting standing TKO'd in your first fight to, I'm going to be able to dance around and like beat, Modestas, Bukauskas, who by the way, can take me down and probably submit me if what. No way. And he's off. He's on nobody's radar. Nobody's excited to bet Bukauskas except this guy. I'm very excited to fade this Raffael Cerqueira. So Bukauskas is going to be my woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's great. Somehow these two guys are fighting on the same card, and we got them both to lose.
Yeah. Must want to get rid of both of them this weekend. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
Love it. All right, that's going to do it for us for the UFC. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you don't have a hot take to leave in the comments section, just type the word finish. And don't forget to grab all of our plays. Take advantage of that 7 days and get 3 days free. This is one of the best times of year for all of our sports. So good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone later.
See you Saturday.